Good morning, afternoon for all of you out there. I'm assuming everyone can hear me. Right, Jeff? You can hear me at least.
Yes, I can hear you.
And you even muted me after. Did I say too much already? So welcome everybody. So my name is John Byrne. I am joining you today from Inspera, and a leading assessment platform. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you a very short introduction to a little bit of the value behind our platform. And then after that, I'm going to show you two key parts of the platform. The first one will be our lockdown browser, and the second will be our proctoring solution. And what I'll do is I'll actually do an exam live for you, and then I will show you how you can invigilate an exam. Hoping the technology is on my side today, since I'm going to use the lockdown browser. I did a test earlier and everything was fine. But I will start off by just sharing my screen with you all. Great, it should be live now. So what I wanted to tell you a little bit about before we actually start looking at the platform is our value proposition itself. So when you look at Inspera as a platform as a whole, we have one platform for all your tests and assessments. What makes us unique in the market is that every part of our platform, the proctoring, the lockdown browser, every element is developed and owned in-house. And that is what makes us unique. So this enables us to have single sign-on and a really seamless process for institutions where nothing falls between the cracks because you're using multiple different providers under one platform. We have everything in-house. In addition, we provide support through the entire examination cycle, all the way from planning to sharing those feedback results with the test takers. In addition, it goes without saying, a secure and efficient process. Security is very important to us. Exam continuity with remote and offline options, so critically important for the test taker experience that when you are taking an exam, the internet conks out, and all of a sudden you are in panic mode. With our platform, it keeps going. There is no interruption if there is a loss of internet connection. And in addition, we have quite low bandwidth requirements for all our solutions, including proctoring, meaning that this platform is accessible for everybody, no matter where you are. In addition, I mentioned already there, an intuitive test taker experience, so important that it's clean, easy to use, and you're going to see this when I go through the check-in process in a couple of minutes. And in addition, we have a lot of new things that we're working on at the moment, internal projects. This means that we are working towards even smarter assessment for the future. So what I'm going to talk about today in very short is we, of course, have three different products. The base product is called Inspera Assessment. That's our cloud-based platform for running high-stakes assessment. This is done within your browser. So it is a normal exam, normal security requirements. Then you have our add-on, which you will see today, called Inspera Exam Portal. This is our lockdown browser. So if you are an institution that needs that extra layer of security, in addition to that security being flexible, you should be using Inspera Exam Portal. This basically locks down your whole computer. It goes on top of the operating system, and then the candidate takes the exam. So they're not able to navigate away from the exam. They're not able to copy things, even the clipboard. If you've copied something beforehand, because it's on top of the operating system, you won't be able to paste because it's a whole new copy and paste board. It does require Inspera Assessment, the base platform, to run Exam Portal. Then you have our proctoring solution, which is called Inspera Smarter Proctoring. And this allows for both AI and human-based proctoring. And today I will show you this AI-based proctoring. Good. So before we start, and before I start getting into the demo, I want everybody to close their eyes for a second. And I want you to think about the last time you took an exam. Might be the last university exam you took. It might be a driving exam. It could be anything. And I just want you to sit with the feelings of how you felt as a test taker during that exam. And what I want you to do now is hold on to those feelings a little bit as we head into the demo now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit out of this presentation, since I will not be returning there, and I will kick off our exam browser. So this is an installed solution on your computer, obviously, because it is opening over the operating system. So what you should see on my screen now is the first part of the check-in process. So here it says, welcome to Inspera Exam Portal. It runs you through what's going to happen next, and it's a very intuitive test taker experience. So I'm just going to navigate a little bit back and forth here and put in the details that I've created today. So I've created a nice exam. So you can see now the first step of the process before is the initial system assessment check. Here it's looking at the environment, the number of displays. For example, you cannot have 2 displays connected. And if I had had one, it would have flagged it here, asked me to unplug it and try again. So I'm going to put in the username. I'm going to put in the password. Then I have unlocked the exam. So I will click next. And since this is a one-time test, I have actually created a code for it. But what is possible with single sign-on is that you can assign tests to candidates who are already in Inspera. So it means that this would come up here on the side. They would be able to click on it. For example, if you a student at a university might have multiple exams, they would be able to click on the one that's relevant here. So what I'm going to do now is click unlock and select, and we're going to go into the advanced process. And what I'm going to do while I'm doing that is I'm going to actually turn off my camera, since you can only have one video source being used at a time. So what the system is doing now is it's checking that it's possible to connect to my webcam and to capture my screen, because what will happen during the proctoring part, which is this part of the check-in, it's checking there's enough available disk space, which is important, webcam is working, and that it's possible to capture my screen. So I'll click next. Now it's doing a microphone check, which you can see is working perfectly. And now it wants to see that it's actually me. So now you guys can see me again, which is good. So what the system is going to do now for the proctoring is it's going to take a picture of me, and then it's also going to take a picture of my identification. And you can set a sort of instruction here that you can use your student ID as a part of the check-in process. And what it's going to do is it's going to take those 2 images and it's going to use them as a base to make sure that it's me taking the exam the whole time. So there's a little guidance here to make sure that I get the right sort of photo being taken. And what's really important to mention here about accessibility is that this helps to make sure we avoid issues with lack of brightness in the room and not sharp webcam. That's quite important. So I'll put my head into the circle. When it's satisfied, it will allow me to take the photo. If it's not satisfied, it won't. So it's going to take a nice flattering photo of me now. And then it's going to click, I'm going to click next. And we're going to do the same thing with my ID. So I'm going to take a very quick picture of my ID. And if you were wondering, there is proof that I am actually Irish, despite the fact that I've lost my accent. And we're going into lockdown mode. So I see that this is working perfectly, and you can all see my screen. So now we are in the exam. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Start Test. I've made a couple of fun little questions here just for ease of completing the exam, because I want you to see the whole process from start to finish. So I'm just going to complete the questions here very quickly. I've inserted a couple of multiple choice questions and also 2 essay questions. I I will just go through these really quickly. And which is the best city in Norway? I would, of course, have to argue Oslo, since I live there. And here you can also see a question with the drop-down option. I won't have too much time today to go into a lot of different question types, but I will post a link after. So if you do want to get in touch with the team to learn more, you can do that. And please explain the meaning of life in 30 words. That's quite a difficult task. So I will just put digital assessment since this is today's key topic. And there we go. We have gone through all of the questions. And what's great here is that if a student has gone very quickly, or a test taker has gone very quickly, they are able to see that if they've missed a question, and that would show up here as not attempted. So now I'm going to click submit. And that's it. So I'm guessing what you're seeing now is that taking an exam in a lockdown setting or in an e-assessment exam is not that difficult. It's quite an intuitive experience. And in our platform, I would argue that, that this is a very nice experience for the test taker. So I only have a couple of minutes left. So what I would like to show you before I do that is what happens after the exam. You probably want to see the result of the proctoring. So what I have set up here is I took an exam earlier on today, or back earlier in April. And what I've done is I've had a number of different scenarios. So I was trying to cheat. I'm not going to lie to you. That was my purpose when I was taking this exam. But I'm going to tell you very quickly about 4 scenarios. But before we start on that, what you can see here is this is the administrative platform. So the key user here is administrative staff or academic staff. And what they want to know is quick and easy, what are the issues? So here there is one column called warnings, and here you can see major violations. And that's an important column here. What is really interesting is the column called confidence level. And this is what I discussed earlier about that photo, taking the video at the same time, and then balancing to see how likely is it that I was there the whole time in the video based on that photo taken at the start. So we can see here there's a couple of different percentages. So in one video, it's 99.78% sure it was me. And then you also have device security flags. And this is usually when there has been a serious violation or a change in equipment. So what I'll do first is I will give you an example of when I went in and I covered the webcam. So it's still confident that it was me the whole time in the exam, but there's a flag that the environment was too dark. What you can do is you'll see the whole recording here of me taking the exam and the screen, but you can go to events here and you can see that at around somewhere between just before 20 seconds, I left the frame of the video. So then it means you don't have to spend the whole time going through the video to find the flag. You can jump straight to it. And you can see around that point, I covered the webcam. And what will have happened then is there will have come a flag saying the environment is too dark, please fix, gives the student or the test taker time to rectify the situation. And then if it's not rectified, the exam will terminate. And this will be flagged here. So the invigilator or the person looking after the exam is able to take action on it. What I will do is, since I don't have too much time, I will do very quickly 2 more. So in this one here, you can see no faces detected. And if we go into events, we can see that at 20 seconds or right before probably, it has recorded that someone has left the frame. Here you can jump, you can see, by the way, I forgot to mention here at the bottom, you can see these little points that are coinciding here. And you can jump straight to that. And you can see that at 20 seconds, I had left the screen. And then the same thing will have happened. It flagged it. And then it, when I didn't return, the test terminated. And then the last one that I want to show you before I wrap up is probably the coolest and the most exciting. is I asked very nicely for someone to jump into the exam and take it mid-exam. So we did it very quickly, so it didn't pick up, it didn't shut down the exam because I'd left for too long. But as you can see, it says it is 0% likely that it was me during this exam. So it always takes the lowest percentage rate during different flagged points. So you can see that here, at just around the 21 second mark, someone left the frame. And then at the 21 second mark, once again, someone entered the frame. And the system is 0% confident that it was me re-entering the frame. So let's take a quick look. So yeah, so you can see that someone else came in and started taking the exam, meaning that you cannot trick the system. The main benefit of doing this with AI proctoring is that it takes away that, I would argue, that scary element for the test takers that someone is constantly watching, because essentially you are in charge and the technology is looking after you while you're taking your exam. So I guess that is me done now. I will just exit and come back so I can see you all again. Now, we don't have time for any questions, unfortunately, but what I created for you all was this link that I will post in the chat box now, so that you can contact us and see some other different Inspera events or any way you want to get in touch with us. Great.
Okay. Thank you ever so much, John.
You're very welcome.
You still there? Yeah. Whilst we hand over to